Actions there, particularly in the back line, a guy like James Verity getting game time at left wing.
Yeah, Ashfaq, I mean, look, I think we signed him on the base we want to play him. He's a bit older. He's trained really well. And it also gives us the time to rotate a couple and try a different option. I think, as I said, last time we played, he started at fullback. He has played wing for Griquas, and I think for the Brumbies in the force. So it'd be nice to see him getting involved there and see how he complements David Creel and Madosh.
And also Chris Smith at fly off, Jake.
I think it's important. I think or I think I've read, and everyone knows that the lineman camp players are all, how can I put it to you? It's from SA Rugby have asked us to not play them in every single game. We've got to give them a week off. So this week, Mornay gets us a week off. Obviously the last guy we've got to rest now is Lizo. Then we've rested Trevor and Dwayne and Mornay. And obviously now we just need to find a game to rest Lizo.
Jake, just on Chris Smith though, he's obviously appeared in a lot of games for you guys. Started a few. He does just look very composed and kind of like he belongs at that level every time he's played. What have you thought of his performances?
Yeah, Ken. Look, I've always known that. Even with Mornay coming in and playing really well, we're not going to have the services of Mornay forever. He's obviously getting on in age, although he's playing really well. So part of our plan is to groom the next 10. And as you quite rightly say, Chris has played in some really pressure games and pressure situations in the last year. I think he's played really well when he has played for us. So to give him a start it's not something we're panicking about. I think he's got some talent. He adds something to our game. He plays really quickly. He's got a great passing game. And I think it gives him confidence, to know that we back him enough to get a start. So, I mean, he did start against the Lions last time as well, I think, if I remember correctly. But, I mean, he has started enough times anyway. And I want him to get some game time under his belt, because if we do lose Mornay to an extended Springbok squad that goes into COVID isolation, then we're going to have to play Chris anyway. So, a great time for him to get some game time.
Jake, it's a game 1 against 4 in a competition. They haven't won a game yet. You guys are unbeaten. And I think we've spoken extensively about the desire to go to Europe and reach that final. What do you expect from the Lions this week?
Yeah, Jan, I mean, look, when you say 1 versus 4, there are only 4. If it was, to be fair, I mean, the margins are so small. I mean, I thought the Lions were very unlucky last week. That game could have quite easily gone the other way, and so as other games in the competition. So, I'm expecting they've kept the same sort of side. I think they've made one change, which is basically forced to injury, which means that group would have trained together for the last 2 weeks, and there'll be a bit of confidence out of that. And as I said, I thought they were unlucky, so I'm expecting them to play like they did last week, and I thought they played really well last week.
Jake, just on the Lions, last week they scored some really wonderful tries. I guess the most important thing for the Bulls playing in this weekend is that you can't afford to give them turnover ball.
Yeah, Ken, it's interesting. I had a chat to the coaches. The one thing, they did score some great tries. The one thing has probably shot them in the foot for the last couple of, I suppose, games and competitions is they don't score enough points. I think if you look at, that was obviously a good performance by them. But if you look at generally, the old teams of Johan Ackerman would have scored 30, 40 points. They might have lost 38, 35, or they might have lost 40, 37. But they had the ability to score lots of points. I think with this team, and I'm just, that's why it was so good for them to score some tries. I think that, they probably haven't gone to that same DNA that they used to have, where they could really score lots of points. So, but saying that, I mean, they showed last week that they can. So maybe that was a tipping point for them to actually get some confidence in scoring some points.
Just a follow-up on that, might it have something to do with the youthful nature? Because they got quite a few younger guys in there that hasn't been in top-level competitions.
Yeah, and maybe the 10. I thought the 10 played really well as well. I mean, Hendricks looked the part, and some great offloads and the way he ran the game. So, I mean, let's be fair. I mean, they have had probably the most disruption. They've had Elton there, and then they didn't play many other 10s. Then Elton left, and they tried Fred, and now they got a youngster. They were going to try Tian there as well. So, yeah, I mean, I do think that they've definitely found some way in which they can score points, and I'm expecting them this weekend. It's going to be an afternoon fixture. 3 o'clock. I'm hoping the weather's quite nice, and I'm sure that if that's like that, there's no reason why they won't have a full crack at trying to score some more points.
Morning, Jake. Just on a point of clarity, Ivan van Zyl, is he still with the Bulls, or will he be released earlier to go to Saracens?
Yeah, no, Quibus, he's here till the 1st of July. So, I mean, if all things go well, he's probably back next week. Hopefully I'll get him onto the field. Hopefully for the next, hopefully we've got 2 games left, and if we make the playoffs, there'll be another game in play, and then there's, the Currie Cup starts on the 19th of June. There's 2 weekends there before the end of July, so, I might even use him to play those 2 Currie Cup games before he leaves in July, So, yeah, I mean, every player who's contracted to us finishes, that is leaving to Europe will leave in end of June, and then in the 1st of July, we will then get guys like Jacques Duplessis, Goosen, and Harold Foster. So basically it'll be a swap, for whoever goes out. We will just replace them in our numbers with the players who are coming in.
Like, speaking about that, morning, the British and Irish Lions obviously in July, and you will be playing the British and Irish Lions. Is that a conundrum for you? First of all, with the aligned group of players that you will have that will go to the Springboks on the one hand, and the other group that you are assumingly honing their talents to play against the British and Irish Lions in July. What's going on in your mind, more or less, if you can disclose a little bit?
Yeah, Simon, I mean, look, I think what he's quite right is that look, at this point in time, there's a Springbok, I think, double test against Georgia. At the same time, there's a Currie Cup, and at the same time, in that little window, there's a British and Irish Lions fixture for us as the Bulls. So the difficulty is, and I think you would all understand, is I'm not sure who's in the box setup. I'm not sure how many players they'll take. I'm not sure how long they'll have to be in quarantine for. So therefore, we got to plan around the worst case scenario and the best case scenario. Obviously, if in July we've got all our top players available, and I'm talking about barring obviously the definites like Dwayne and Trevor and those sort of guys, but there's an SAA game the week after us, and I'm not quite sure who would be playing in that SAA game as well, because they'd also have to go into quarantine. I can't believe that they'd only arrive after the Bulls game on the Sunday to play on the Wednesday. So, yeah, I think what I'm answering to you, Simon, I think at this point in time, I'm just trying to cover all our bases. And if Chris Smith is going to be the 10, he needs to play. If Ambrose Papier is going to be the 9, he needs to play with him as a combination. I'm not quite sure, but I think the more sort of boxes I can tick, and the more combinations I can sort of put on the field, and the more sort of players I can get game time to, the easier it's probably going to be for me to put some sort of team on the field against the Lions, and as in the British Lions.
Jake, ekskuus, net nog 'n vraag met Chris. Dis vir my nogal baie interessant eintlik. Ek meen hy het dalk nie so baie al gespeel soos 'n Marco nie, maar daar was op 'n stadium wat hy ook so 'n soort van 'n bietjie van 'n beskou is as 'n understated speler soos Marco en dinge, en hy daai een mis gehad, jy weet, in Bloemfontein en dinge, en daarna net absoluut die heeltyd gegroei, jy weet. Nie noodwendig so baie gespeel soos wat Marco nou gedoen het nie, maar hy's net chuffed van, jy weet, die mental staal wat hy gewys het en die improvement en sy groei, jy weet, oor die afgelope paar maande, selfs al moet hy aanvaar, hy gaan nie elke week speel nie.
Heinz, dankie dat jy gesien het hy het gegroei. Ek dink die feit dat hy elke oefening saam met Morney Steyn oefen en hy speel teen hom in die oefeninge, kan hy mos sien wat vir Morney anderste laat maak, en ek dink hy het iets anderste ook in sy game wat hy miskien vir Morney wys, jy weet, wat hy kan doen. So dis eintlik ook lekker dat hulle ten minste by mekaar kan, of vir mekaar kan help. Hy het baie gespeel. Jy sê nie baie nie, maar as jy vergelyk, en jy kyk mos die ander spanne, Jy weet, wie is die loskakels wat die tweede loskakels wat baie gespeel het by die Sharks en wie was die tweede loskakel wat baie gespeel het by die Stormers en wie was die tweede loskakel wat gespeel het toe Elkin Jantjies daar was. So, jy weet, as jy maar uitdink en ek sê dit net in ons geval, ons is heeltemal gelukkig dat ons tweede loskakel baie meer gespeel het as die ander provinsies en dit beteken ons kry baie vertroue in die feit dat as hy hierdie week moet begin, jy weet, hy het nou genoeg rugby gespeel in vergelyking met die ander spelers. I mean, as jy nou dink, hierdie naweek byvoorbeeld is Abner, ek dink is sy 4de of 5de game. Jy weet, is die tweede game vir Hendricks wat 10 speel vir die Leeu's. En Kerwin, ek dink, jy weet, jy weet, hy het nou amper elke game begin en amper elke game klaargemaak. So, ja, so Heinz, ons is heeltemal gelukkig en ek het hom gesien groei en ek dink hy gaan, jy weet, hy 26 jaar oud nou, hy het deur die junior ranks gekom, hy het by Stellenbosch gespeel, hy het WP juniors gespeel, hy het, jy weet, so ek dink sy bevordering is eintlik baie goed vir ons, want ons kry nou die beste uit hom uit.
Jacob, Fabian, met al die wedstryde met die Britse Leeu's nou en julle wat beslis oorgaan vir die final vir die Rainbow Cup en ander spelers wat jy gaan moet afstaan en Currie-beker, hoe gaan jy met die 45 spelers dit regkry?
Ek het nie 'n idee nie, Karl. Om eerlik te wees, ek het nie 'n idee nie. I mean, op hierdie stadium, jy weet, ek dink as sprake en ek weet die CEO's en almal het nou vergader oor hoe gaan dit werk. Die onder 20 speel dieselfde tyd. Jy weet, daar's junior wedstryde of onder 20 wedstryde teen die ander lande ook in daai tyd. Dan is daar onder 20 kompetisie, jy weet, provinsiale kompetisie. So om eerlik te wees, ek weet nie. I mean, ek weet die stadium, ek dink daar was 'n versoek gewees van kan ons die squad groter maak, kan ons miskien van buite af kies, kan ons korttermyn kontrakte gee. Jy weet, vir al die unies, nie net vir die bulle nie, kan ons klubspelers kies en ek dink op hierdie stadium, Karl, ons is nie seker nie. Ek weet nie wat gaan gebeur nie, because dis onmoontlik as ons in 19 Junie gaan speel in daai eindstryd en ek dink, jy weet, dis nie 'n gegewe nie. Ek weet jy dink as ons maar as dit ons is en ons moet daai dag ook Currie-beker speel. I mean, ons het net 45 spelers en as jy bokke uitvat en as 5 bokke dan is daar 40 spelers en dan jy kan maar jou eie somme doen. 23 in een span en 23 in 'n ander span is alreeds 46. So ek weet nie hoe ek dit gaan regkry nie, maar ek wag nou om te hoor wat is die besluite wat gaan geneem word. So ek dink ons is in presies dieselfde boot as die Sharks en die Stormers. I mean, ek dink die Sharks het 10 of 12 outjies miskien wat in daai kampe gaan wees en as hulle nou onttrek en hulle kry 'n paar beserings wat hulle nou gekry het met Noche, weet ek's nie seker hoe hulle gaan twee spanne kan volmaak nie. Maar weet wie weet, ek almal is in dieselfde boot. Ek dink ons gaan miskien net hierdie ding moet uitwerk, ja, maar soos jy kan verstaan, al wat ons nou doen en ek praat al 4 spanne is om besig te maak om die Rainbow Cup klaar te maak.
Jake, obviously a great performance last week, and as you pointed out, you're now playing against the bottom side. What has your messaging been to the guys this week, just to make sure that, you know, there isn't that, I mean, often after a team's had a great performance, the next week, the edge kind of isn't quite there.
Okay, Ken, let me just quickly, and I don't want to, but I didn't say they're the bottom side. I was asked one playing 4. So, I mean, they're not the bottom side. They just happened in the team of 4 to be at the bottom of the table. But, you know, I think Ellis Park is always a difficult place for us to play. And I see you giggling there because I know you're a Lions supporter. But the reality, Ken, is that they were unlucky. They were unlucky last week. And you know, keeping their team together, I'm sure their motivation will be to try and to knock over the number 1 team, and I'm talking about the team that's top of the log. But, you know, my message is quite clear. We just want to improve every week, and it's not a cliche. We want to keep winning. We want to make sure that we give ourselves a chance to play in that game on the 19th of June, and we have to win these games. You know, if we go overseas in June and we get to the final, we got to be good enough to win away from home, because obviously the final will be overseas. Then we must be good enough to get on the bus and go to Johannesburg and beat the Lions there. So my message is simple. You know, we measure ourselves on how we play. And yes, we had a great 40 minutes, and I don't want us to go in our shell now. I want us to try and kick on from that 40 minutes, because I think there's enough there confidence-wise for us to actually feel good about running out on Saturday and having a good game.
Jake, with the Lions still on the horizon, have you got any sense from the players almost as if they want to push for the box squad position? I'm just thinking about someone like Ulrich Lowe, who's been really good over the last year or so, and I don't think he was part of the lineman camps.
Yeah, Ashfaq, look, I must say that one of the things that, having coached South Africa, I'm big here with my players in getting them to understand I want to produce Springboks. You know, I would like Cornel Hendricks to play for South Africa, and I'd like, you know, Stedman Gans to play for South Africa, and I'd like, you know, Ulrich Lowe to play South Africa, and the list goes on, because that's part of what we are as provincial coaches. We want to produce Springboks. And I know they know that if they play well for the Bulls and the Bulls does well, that happens on its own. So, you know, we very, I suppose, because I've also been coaching for a while, I'm very big on the fact that let's just work as a unit here, and the doors will open for you. And a guy like Elrich, you know, as you saw, the impact he made last week off the bench was phenomenal for a young guy. You know, I mean, everyone knows what a good play is, but to come in a game like that and run the lines he did, and support like he did, and defend like he did, and obviously carry like he did, is fantastic for us. So I'm sure, using him as an example, there's others in the room that we see every day that are also have aspirations of being a Springbok.